the general sense of the state of the NBA Finals is what through 2 games?
Boston is really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
I continue to be, now that we have ESPN Bet, we're getting some great data because they're our partner about where the money is coming. And maybe this data was always available and I just wasn't getting it as I am now, but like I'm getting incredible data about how the betting markets go. And I am mystified. I will never bet on any of these games because the way I see the league and the way the bettors see the league is so different. And for example, I believe about 90% of the money at ESPN Bet came in on the Mavericks in this series. And I know that you're getting a good number on it because the Mavericks were an underdog and there hasn't been a Western Conference underdog since 2013. And I'm sorry, I think the Celtics were far and away the best team in the league since October. And I was just stunned that 90% of the money came in on the Mavericks. The other night, I think like 84% of the money came in on the over per ESPN Bet. And again, there's a lot of other sportsbooks out there. I have the ESPN Bet numbers. And I'm like, really? You guys watched game 1 and thought this was going to be a score fest? So I'm not surprised at all that Boston's up 2-0. I am surprised / disappointed that Dallas isn't playing better. Boston is causing Dallas a lot of problems, some of which are going to be hard to solve, but Dallas is playing very poorly. They are not putting their best foot forward. So what I'd like to see as somebody who enjoys high quality basketball and competitive series is I'd love to see Dallas at least play to their level. I covered the Western Conference Finals. I thought they played brilliantly in most of those games against the Wolves, and I'd like to see that team play at least once starting tomorrow night to get a better series.
Well, it's just tough to envision how the Mavs win 4 out of the last 5 games of this series, Brian, when Porzingis is coming off the bench. And Jrue Holiday may be the MVP of the team right now, and you got Tatum and Brown and White and the rest of this team doing what the Celtics can do best. And so I guess my question for you is what are the problems that they are causing the Mavericks to make them look this way that you think might be the easiest to solve?
One of the classic mistakes that gets made when looking at playoff series is to assume that things that are happening will continue to happen.
Right.
By the way, a lot of times they do. But that's the thing. And, veteran coaches will tell you that assuming that game to game, there's going to be continuity. It's just not true. It just ain't true. I mean, it does happen, of course, but not reliably. So number one, I can't reliably say that the Celtics are going to have the type of play that they've gotten from all of their players, consistently. The other thing, the big thing that we're going to find out today, I'm sure the Celtics will try to obfuscate as much as they can, is the health of Porzingis. He came up lame, in game 2. He had to be pulled out of the game. They called timeout to get him off the floor. They were blowing their lead partially because he couldn't walk. So let's see where he is. Let's see what he looks like. That's a factor. But one of the big giant things, if I can be really basic,
please,
is that the Mavericks cannot generate open shots. And I'll just use a couple of very basic stats that you don't have to be an X's and O's genius to follow. Because I say that not because of you, Rich. I say that because of me.
It's okay.
So in the playoffs coming into the series, the Mavericks were making 5 corner threes a game. Okay. That's a huge weapon in their offense. That's the release valve for Luka and Kyrie. Sometimes it's Kyrie making those threes, but it's a release valve. It's their curveball to the fastball. They have attempted 8 in 2 games. Okay, I'm gonna say that again. They average 5 a game. They've attempted 8. The Celtics are just like, yeah, we're cutting that off. We're not even gonna let you shoot them. Coming into the series, Mavericks, 57 lob dunks in the playoffs. First 2 games, 2. And that 57 is a misleading number because there's a whole bunch of lobs that resulted in fouls. where they got a lob and the guy got fouled and the guy got to the line. It doesn't count as a lob dunk, it's a functionally the same thing. So what's happening is that the Celtics are like, we feel good enough about our defense that we're going to play Luka and Kyrie straight up. They did defend Luka a little bit more aggressively in the second half when he was cooking them in the first half in game 2. They brought a little bit more double teams than they did. So maybe that's an indication of things to come. But basically, they're playing the two of those guys straight up. They're willing to accept the way they're playing. They love the matchup with Kyrie. They're doing a great job making life tough on Kyrie, and they're sticking to their players. They're like, we're not going to let you open in the corner for a 3. We're not going to, sink all these guys to protect the rim. We're going to rely on our defense straight up. That's why they're an awesome team, because they can put 5 guys out there that they all trust and all trust who they can defend. So that's a big problem for Dallas, and Dallas has got to solve that. Dallas has got to reopen the other options in their offense starting tomorrow night. And it starts, by the way, with Kyrie just making some shots. Kyrie has gotten good looks that he's just flat out missed. And 2 games doesn't make a series, doesn't make a season. It was just 3 years ago, that we saw Phoenix go up 2-0 against the Bucks, and the Bucks win 4 straight. Now, I think Boston is extremely strong. I do not foresee that happening. But one of the things that happened in that series was Giannis just got stronger and stronger and started to dominate. He was the best player in the series. Dallas has the best player in the series. So I would favor Boston heavily at this point, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's over. I've seen too much to be able to say that.
Yep, I'm with you. And I'm wondering what the Nuggets are thinking right now, watching this, right? Just sitting here thinking if they only taken care of Game 7, I know there's a lot of ifs and buts and candies and nuts,
Well, they were a team. They were maybe the only team all year that solved Boston. They were 2-0 against them. Now 2 games, again, doesn't make anything. But right. I think the Nuggets felt good about how they matched up with them.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.